after his family says Jasper County, Indiana emergency medical technicians sedated him, and police then held him face down for more than 15 minutes during a medical emergency.
So it's always stated that you never call the police because there's no situation that the cops can't make worse. And I agree. But in this particular case, no one called the cops. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office, well, they showed up on a medical call of a guy having a seizure. And just imagine, you called for paramedics and they come, but the cops decide to come with those medics. Now, this is a medical call of a family member having a seizure, but while having a seizure, while trying to put on his shorts so that he can go to the hospital, he stumbles. And when he stumbles, he bumps into the medic and the police officer. And from that point forward, he becomes a criminal, thrown to the ground, handcuffed, and he's face down in a pillow for 15 minutes. A medical patient is thrown down, handcuffed, and face down in the pillow with his face in the pillow for 15 minutes. And he just finished having a seizure. As you can imagine, the outcome was not good. But what's almost as bad is the response that the sheriff's office gave to this incident. Let's watch this. We'll talk more here in a second.
Well, outrage in Northwest Indiana as friends and family gathered tonight for a visitation for a father of two. They're demanding answers about how he died during a medical call for help.
Riker Earl's family telling WGN's Jenna Barnes they witnessed him go limp while a police officer held him down.
The only thing I really have right now is anger.
Anger fueling the drive for justice for 26-year-old dad of two, Riker Earl. He died earlier this month after his family says Jasper County, Indiana emergency medical technicians sedated him, and police then held him face down for more than 15 minutes during a medical emergency. Earl, his family says, was prone to having seizures. EMTs responded to help him the day of September 8th, and his family says some of the same EMTs returned that evening along with police because a more severe seizure at his home in DeMott, Indiana, prompted his grandmother to call 911.
And she's the one who has reported that he, in trying to put on his shorts to go to the hospital, fell over and bumped into either a police officer or one of the first responders, and that seemed to trigger a change in their behavior to treating him like a criminal at that point instead of a patient.
As we continue to watch this video, and we're going to see how bad it really got, I have an email that I received from a viewer, a 61-year-old woman named Dana. And that email I thought was very relevant to this particular situation. Let me read this to you guys really quickly. She says, what and or who can I contact because it needs to stop that cops break the law but have little to no punishment until they kill someone without a good alibi. Trump says if he gets in again, he's going to give permanent qualified immunity so they can do nothing and never lose their job or get sued. I'm 61 years old and have become afraid of cops more every day. So what can I do? Who can I contact? Now, I'm not here for political advice or who to vote for, who not to vote for. But the point of the email and what she's saying is she's becoming afraid of the actions of cops. And there's videos like this and all of the videos that we've shown on this channel and others, why the public is becoming more and more afraid of police officers because they do literally get away with murder. And it's happening more and more frequently. And actually, I'm not even sure if it's happening more or we just have more cameras and we're just seeing it more and it's more out in the open and on social media. But to answer that question quickly, what can you do when police violate your rights or worse? You can file a complaint with the department, of course, and that's if it's an individual act by a police officer. But what if it's the entire department? You can file a complaint with the Department of Justice, file a criminal complaint, file a civil suit, contact your local ACLU if your rights have been violated. But the point is, do something. It's been too long of a time that the public did nothing, and I think that's what helped get this, what we're seeing today from law enforcement. I think that helped it to get to this point because for so long, we didn't say anything. No one filed complaints. No one filed lawsuits. No one reported anything to the Department of Justice. No one reached out to the local ACLUs. And when I say no one, I'm just saying not enough of us did so. So therefore, yeah, the cops really believed, hey, I can get away with murder and I can beat this charge, and they have been doing so. That's the entire point of this entire auditing movement. We have to speak up. Let's keep watching this video, and hopefully enough of us speak up concerning this situation.
The family says officers took Earl to the floor, handcuffed him behind his back with his face in a pillow.
There was an officer on the upper part of the backside of his body. I had witnessed him begging for his life.
Earl's aunt says she was in the room as his body went limp.
I was just begging and pleading. He's blue. He's blue, like he's blue. You can tell he's blue. Do something, take his pulse.
She says when first responders did take his pulse, there wasn't one. Earl was taken to the hospital, but tests confirmed he had no brain activity. He was removed from life support on September 10th. The sheriff's office statement from 2 days later makes no mention of the circumstances of Earl's death. It reads that officers responded to a medical 911 call from a residence, and on September 10th, the office was informed the patient had passed away. The family has hired National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump and Indiana Attorney Stephen Wagner to investigate what happened, and they're zeroing in on the actions of officers and EMTs. Actions, they say, put Earl at greater risk.
Yeah, the dangers of prone restraint have been known for years to law enforcement. Everybody in the public has known about them since the George Floyd case in May of 2020.
The coroner hasn't yet released Earl's cause of death, but the attorneys are requesting his medical records and the body camera video of the incident to get answers for his family.
He was a 26-year-old man with a whole lot of life ahead of him.
Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Indiana State Police are now investigating the incident at the request of Jasper County Police. WGN News has requested a copy of the body camera video.
So this guy had seizures all throughout that day. They came back a second time because the seizures were getting worse. So when they returned, not only was he having seizures, he was handcuffed, prone, face down, face inside of a pillow, already sedated by the medics, and not to mention he also suffered from asthma. All these things collectively together helped cause this man's death, but yet the response by the sheriff's office was just cruel and heartless. They had no care, no worry in the world when this was a medical call. Now, for those of you naysayers who state that police do oftentimes show up on medical calls, that is true. That is if the party is or the patient is combative or there's a danger. This guy was having seizures. The medics were there earlier and they were returning because he was having more seizures. This guy was trying to get ready, put on his shorts so he can go to the hospital. And because he accidentally lost his balance and bumped into one of the medics or the police officers, he's thrown down and murdered. I don't know how many times I have to say record the police, but it is dangerous not to record the police. And I completely understand what Dana is saying. More and more people are becoming afraid of the cops because they do get away with murder. And it's happening more and more. Always record the police, know your rights. With that being said, We the People University, signing off. Be sure to visit WeThePeopleUniversity.com where you can find our latest YouTube videos, more about myself, why I left the police department, merch, and more. If you have a police encounter that you would like highlighted, visit our website and click the Submit Videos tab. Fill out the videos form submission so that we can hold these tyrants accountable. And if you guys still haven't purchased my book, Living in the Royal Tyranny, you can do so at WeThePeopleUniversity.com by clicking digital copy to read it right on your phone, or you can buy the hard copy or the paperback directly from Amazon. Also, be sure to pick up your free ebook to give you tips and tricks on how to deal with cops when you encounter them. And for those of you who are still trying to learn your basic rights, register for our course to learn how to deal with police so that your rights are not violated when you encounter cops. All this and more at WeThePeopleUniversity.com.